Aloha, and welcome to TAG's new video series where we look at the artistic process of creating theater. Today I am talking with Wendy Pearson and Curtis Duncan, who are going to be the feature actors for the upcoming show Yellowman at TAG. Yellowman will be running January 13th through February 5th. Tickets and information can be found on our website and also on our blog. Aloha.
Aloha.
Good. Thank you guys both for coming today. I know that you've been very busy, especially since there's only 2 actors in this particular show. I'd like to start off with hearing a little bit about how you found TAG originally. What brought you here to our wonderful theater?
I'll let Wendy go first.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. My story is probably the weirdest. So it was like 2007 or so, and I hadn't done any acting at all. But it was something that I really wanted to get into. And I looked in the paper. I think it was like the Star Bulletin. This is before the 2 merged. And there used to be this tryout section. And there were auditions listed for fences. And I remember reading it in school, and I knew I liked the play. And I was looking at the Sunday paper, and it was literally the last day of auditions. And so I thought, should I go? Just show up? I didn't know, but I thought I'd take a chance. And I showed up, and Derek Brown was there holding auditions. No one else was there. This was back when TAG used to be at Yellowbrick, Yellowbrick Studio in Kaka'ako. And you know that area is kind of sketchy. So I didn't quite know what I was in for. But I went in and I read for the part of Rose, and I just fell in love with that part. And that's kind of how I got into everything.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And how about you?
Okay, mine, basically I was walking along the street and
Maybe your story is
I think I've heard a story like this before. Yes, go ahead.
and Frankie Enos walks up to me out of nowhere and says, "I'm looking for black men." I said, "Frankie, I can't help you with that." So no, she said, no, don't. It's not what you think it is. She says, "I'm looking for African American men to do this play called Joe Turner's Come and Gone, August Wilson." Bear in mind, I was embarrassed to say I'd never even heard of August Wilson. What happened was they already had somebody in that role, but they wanted me to basically read the role because I guess they were having some problems with the other actor. I came down and I read the role, and I guess they were amazed at what they heard, and that's how I really got involved with TAG. I mean, and to be honest with you, when I read August Wilson's script, I was just amazed that here's this man, I don't even know who he is. This is very beautifully written. There's so much inside of this script that will just literally change my life as I continue to pour into it. And I'm still, you don't do an August Wilson play and walk away from it. You basically, when you go back and look at another thing, it's another thing that will affect your life. I quote some of the things that really changed my life. That man is really the most brilliant writer I've ever seen. I've ever heard of. And
He truly is.
Just blew me away. And that's how I got involved with TAG. And done about 6 August Wilson plays, and I've been blessed to be around such great actors such as Wendy and Derek and just the whole group here. Outstanding.
Oh, we've loved having you in. And Frankie, she has a way of finding us actors. Yes,
on the street.
On the street, right? She will.
Looking for black men.
Excuse me. Well, we love her, and we are so glad that she found all of you because really, each one of you have brought so much to this theater over the years, and it is fundamental to actually our identity is the work that you guys have done here throughout the years. So it's really important. I'm curious about how you have honed your craft over the years. I mean, what is the process that you have ended up with now when you approach a character? This play is particularly difficult because you are the only 2 actors and you play multiple characters. And you also play multiple ages, so there's a long depth in this play of time period that you are exploring. So tell me a little bit about your process and how you are utilizing that process to tackle this particular play.
Am I first again?
Oh, yes. I'm too old-fashioned, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's an inside thing.
I tend to only either audition for parts that I've read and that I identify with. So I kind of cheat right out the gate. And so whenever someone asks, are you interested, I make sure I read it first and see if there's something in there that I can really, that really speaks to me.
Yeah.
For this particular play, Alma, I really identified with Alma in particular, with just the issue she has with her color, the issue she has with her size, and that kind of internal dialogue that she would have with her, hearing her mother's voice, or hearing this voice that's constantly criticizing her and putting her down. I think as women, we do kind of have that internal dialogue going at all times, things that we heard growing up. Even as we're adults, in your 40s or 50s, there's still that voice in there sometimes that kind of breaks you down. And so there was that thread throughout the play that just really spoke to me. Growing up darker skinned than my sister, and having a very fair grandmother, I was very aware of color issues, just even within our families. I think that these characters are interesting in that Jean's character's father is darker skinned and his mother is lighter skinned, and he came out lighter skinned. Alma's father is lighter skinned and her mother is darker skinned, and she came out brown skinned. So they kind of came from the same, background in terms of color, but then the outcome was very different. And then how that kind of materializes in their life and affects them growing up, it just really spoke to me. For each play that I tackle, if you will, I always start with the monologues. And I find something either in myself or the people that were very close to me that I can identify with, and just try to let that voice come through. So that's pretty much my approach to it.
When you start off with the monologues, are you, and forgive me for being a little overly technical here, but are you doing that also because of line load?
Oh, yes.
Or because I know some actors find it easier to memorize dialogue compared to the monologues. Or does the monologues give you a lot more information about your character?
It's both. I'm a very practical person, so the number one reason is always line load. I want to tackle those and nail those. But also, I think that the monologues in particular are so important. The dialogue, you'll pick that up, you'll get that. But those monologues really speak to the character and what the play is about. And so you want to nail that right out the gate. So I always start with the monologues, and then I build from there, from the other longer passages. But it also helps me to get a better sense of the character that I'm playing as well.
Thank you. And your process?
Wow, my process basically with tag, and I have to say this, is that I've been what they call their clutch guy. So what I mean by that is it's very rare that I'll get a script and say, okay, you're going to be doing this role. I'll get a call, okay, this person can't do it. Can you do this? Do all these lines in a week and a half? For Fences, I was only given a week and a half to do Troy Maxson.
Wow.
But he was actually someone. Were you two other people?
I was two other people, and it's like August Wilson is smiling down, laughing at me, and going, okay, you think you're going to do this role, you think you're going to do this, so I have a script, I got plenty of time, and all of a sudden, without fail, someone drops out, something happens, and it's okay, we need you to do this, and so I lose sleep, I lose weight, so I'm up happy. So a lot of times people see me say, they'll ask me, what's wrong with you? Because they think that I'm upset about something, but I've got that all the time. But what it is, I'm constantly looping lines in my head. Even when I'm sleeping, I'm looping lines. I'm up to sometimes 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Because once I get a hold of a character, it's hard for me to let him go. I'll be at work and people understand my job. They'll think I'm talking. I am talking. I think Derek was saying, I saw you downtown somewhere. You were in an alley. You were sitting by garbage cans. and you were running lines. I saw you walking through Waikiki because I have to walk these characters out. That's how my process is. I said I have to walk with Gene. Gene is going to tell me exactly what to do. Right now, Gene is only letting me in the character I'm playing in this play. Gene is only going to let me in a little bit of what he's about, and he's going to start revealing things. He's going to start talking to me, and at some point, I'm going to have to let go of myself and let Gene take the floor. So a lot of times, I'll get. Matter of fact, it was. Radio golf was another thing where I had to basically take over another actor's role because he had to leave. So I had 4 days to learn his lines and then jump back in and relearn my own lines. So it's been that kind of thing. So this is one of the few times I actually can say I have a role where, barring anything weird,
He's gonna play Alex.
you might see me walking down a dress. But no, that's how I attack it. I really have to, I talk a lot to myself, and I'm very quiet. And a lot of times, whether I do it in church or whether I'm doing it in the secular world, a lot of people think he's upset about something, he's a little bit distant, or he's okay. No, I have lines running in my head constantly, so that's my approach.
It's very interesting. Thank you for sharing it.